Show. What's in your cup?
A whole lot of everything, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Scorpio season, if you will. This is the Kickback Show, kickbackshow.com. I am Foz, and she is...
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Tiana Giovanna, as always, and he is...
DJ Swivel. Anything less will be unswivelized, and I just need to make a public swivel announcement to all the fans out there, all the viewers. We're about to have the battle of the voices right now, because we got a very special guest, the immaculate one, the lyrical macrobat.
Yeah.
You've been working on your facts.
Mac, you gotta finish your introduction because you got away with your words, man. Go ahead.
It's real quick, man. It's the one that flips word on Macrobat, man. The immaculate one, the magnificent one, Mr. Mac Fame. What's up, everybody?
There it is. I love it. What's up, Mac? How you
What's
been?
going on, my Kickback fam? What up?
It's been a
Man,
minute.
it's so good to see you. It's so good to see you, man.
It's good to hear you, bro.
Hey, likewise, man. Likewise.
It's good to
Now,
hear you, man.
I don't know why Swivel was trying to set it up that way. You know what I mean? Because I've had battles, deep voice battles with the best of them. You know what I mean?
Really? Okay.
I've won them all. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I feel that.
That's not.
I feel that because I've been winning deep voice battles since I was in the 6th grade, man. Yeah.
Same, man. Yeah.
Quick story, man. When I was in the 11th, or I was 11 years old, my school counselor told my mom that they should send me to a voice or a speech pathologist or something because it wasn't natural for somebody my age to have a voice this deep. My mom was like,
Man.
screw y'all. My baby gonna be on the radio.
Right?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
A speech pathologist because his voice is too deep. That don't even make
Because
sense.
my voice is... And that's exactly what my mom said. I'm not fooling with y'all. I've gotten girls into trouble for this voice. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's cool though. I enjoy it.
That doesn't even make sense. I don't even know how is a voice pathologist supposed to change the tone of your voice? Like the actual...
Right, because unless they're gonna go in there and loosen up my vocal cords or something like that, like there's no point in it. So my mom gave them and we went about our business.
That's like
what's
telling girls they can't wear their hair all curly or afroed out. Like
you're just trying to mold.
Yeah, you can't.
It's the school's it's the school's trying to mold the kids, man. Like let the parent do it.
Right.
Well, man, I think that's exactly what it is, man. Like that kind of speaks to a bigger issue, especially when it comes to systemic oppression. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Systematic type of laws and trying to normalize things and having a deep voice. It's like, what would be the point in you not having a deep voice at the age of 11? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like what are they trying to enforce? Or what are you afraid of, really? You know what I mean?
What threat is a 6-year-old, a 6th grade? I'm like 11 years old at this point. Like, what threat am I? Like, that's what it is.
Not to take it heavy, but the same type of threat that Tamir Rice is, with a toy gun. Like when cops pull up and within 3 seconds they determine, he was a high school kid and it is a threat and bang, bang, bang.
But across the board, we're always seen as... Sorry, baby's coughing.
All good.
But across the board, we're always seen as older than we actually are. Like, this colonized way of thinking is, that 6-year-old girl over there is fast. No, your head is fucked up. Like, she ain't fast.
Right.
But what's funny is when we're old, like we're the youngest looking ones because black don't.
Right. At all, man. This melanin is beautiful, man. We out here shining.
Man, and even on that same note, this is why I love having Mac on, man, because we immediately get deep. I love it.
Off the rip, man.
It's so ironic that the dichotomy where you have black people that are too old, but then you sexualize young white girls. You know what I mean? Like you have beauty pageants to where it's something different and it's considered beautiful, but she fast if she's a young black girl that, you know, is emulating her mother with the confidence that she has. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You know,
definitely, man. I think it's the fear of the, I always say it this way, it's the fear of the unknown. You never know what we're gonna do as a community, as a culture. We have pioneered and kind of just and spearheaded so many different styles, so many different you know, what's popular is based off of what our culture is. We set the tone. And so I always say everybody wants to be us until it's time to be us. Everybody wants to be us. It's time to be us, man. We are the dopest. You know, like I said, everybody looks to us for what's hot, what's coming next, what's to do next, hairstyles, fashion, clothes, whatever the case is. We are always looked to, but we are also the biggest threat. And it's go ahead.
I think it's to piggyback off what you're saying. It's exactly that, the biggest threat, because of the innovation, because of the creation. You know what I mean? The influence. Like you have a group of people. I mean, even to add on your name. You know what I mean? What you best known for, that, you know, wordsmith and being able to manipulate language to be able to communicate. And then when that gets infiltrated, we can create something brand new. You know what I mean? And again, kind of kick into the survival, you know, that survival, you know, instinct that we have, you know. And yeah, man,
we're fighting
deep.
Hey, if they go with us, it's a loss. So it's almost like they have to keep us in one bucket, because if we start linking up like the Jewish folks and the Asians and stuff like that, they are and they know if black folks organize like that, it's a wrap. There's nothing they can stop us from doing now. And if we really get the power and the wind behind us, it'll be a black man in a black woman's world, and that's what they don't want to see.
Yeah, I think that's very clear in terms of why there's been so many different ways they've tried to limit us and all that kind of stuff.
Definitely.
You know, hold us down, and we just find ways to overcome any situation, and they're just like, how? Like, how?
Right.
How do y'all keep
working? Yeah, because it's a whole lot of non-melanated folks that would have fallen apart by now.
Man,
just ripped apart the seams.
Still crumbling, man. We come from struggle. We know how to get it out the mud and shine afterwards, man. And you know, we're not the silver spoon culture. No, we don't. You know, our generational wealth and people passing money down to their families is just not common in our community. So a lot of us don't have that huge stepping stone out of birth. So a lot of us are conditioned to fight for what we need, and that's just what makes us dope, man. I love it.
During like these times that we're in right now, have you personally experienced a shift, whether it be within yourself and family, or have you seen it within like your community around you, with people kind of organizing and progressing towards that goal at all?
I think I'm kind of split on this, and I may be a little cynical when I say this, but I think it's just the how the cookie is crumbled in my world. At this point, I don't see racism ending. I used to say, oh, when that older generation dies off, because, you know, we have a lot more interracial couples now. There's a lot more people who are open to learning about other cultures. You know, people are different from them. I used to say, you know, once the older, you know, racist generation, baby boomers, they die off, it'll be a better world. But I meet so many people who are my age and younger that are conditioned to think like the previous generation. You know, there are, and I hate this, but like I know black folks who are, you know, who are so pro-black, they're like, screw everybody else. Yes, I get that we have to look out for ourselves, but that there's the inclusion of being able to understand everybody else is what's going to propel us out of this crazy time that we're in. So I say all that to say, I've switched my thinking to, taking care of me and mine. You know, as much as I would love for there to be a kumbaya moment in the world where all colors and all races and everything can join together and everybody is viewed as equal, and a black life, you know, is valued at the same as, you know, our white counterparts and Asians and things like that. I realistically don't see it happening. So I've switched it to, as long as me, my family, the people that I care about, the people who support me, the people I support, as long as they're good, screw everybody else. I can't put my cape on and try to save the world. I can't try to save everybody else. It's exhausting. Like, anything that I can be a part of that's going to push a peaceful world, I will definitely be. But bending over backwards and going out of my way to try to change somebody's view of how, you know, how they view a black man, or just be ignorant. Just be ignorant, man. At the end of the day, I can't change that, and I'm just going to make sure my network is good and everybody is in my network thinks like me. So the only thing we can do is push the way we think. But as far as, like I said, as far as trying to be kumbaya and let's get out here and, man, take care of you and yours. Take care of you and yours. Love everybody, and that love is infectious, man. So it'll touch. But I don't know. That was a lot. I don't know if I actually directly answered your question, but
no.
Yeah, I think that was.
You said, I wish that I had an organ, because you were preaching, and what's wild, Mac, is I haven't had this kind of conversation. This is our first time having this type of conversation, right?
Right.
I literally, and I don't know if we talked about it off air, you know, within the past month or so, but I think that's just a shared energy, because I've been feeling the same way, to where so much has been going on. And granted, we can credit it to the pandemic and being quarantined, but I felt an overwhelming amount of discouragement with trying to save the world and put on that cape and do all this work, especially for people, despite what they look like,
right? And
people not being open-minded for that change or that revolution, and then being conditioned a certain way. And exactly what you just said, I share the same sentiment, brother, to where it's like, let me just make sure that me and mine are cool. I'll have conversations with those that are willing to be open, and I'm willing to listen to them. They listen to me. We can do it without being combative. If it is a debate, it's exactly that. So where I'm going to listen, I can rebuttal, but then there's an understanding. Even if we don't agree, I can walk away with the perspective of saying, okay, I understand where they're coming from, and then I can progress forward.
But you also have, it's difficult because of the willful ignorance, right?
Yes.
Like the willful ignorance and the closed-mindedness is what makes it so hard. Because you can sit here and have a conversation with someone, half the time, if they are that closed-minded, willfully ignorant person, they don't even really know where they're coming from. And that's the problem. They're oftentimes arguing from a position of fear. They don't want to be the minority because they know minorities are treated like crap in this country. And they realize that, you know, they don't really have a leg to stand on their argument. So they're arguing something completely different from what they say they're arguing.
Or they're just regurgitating.
It's regurgitating some other nonsense they heard. They never went to go validate it, justify, find out its history, why it is the way, or why this person even feels like they feel. You know, like perfect example, like I grew up, you know, in Southern California. I grew up around Hispanics. I love, you know, my Latin friends, the SA homies, you know, everybody I love. But I have a very tainted view of, you know, just of a lot of the Hispanics that I kind of grew up around, just because of in Southern California, there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of Black and brown love and pride, but growing up, like I grew up probably doing dirt gangbanging in the streets like that. Those blacks and Mexicans don't get along, man. Like I've been in 30-person brawls with that are blacks versus Mexicans. I've been in high school fights on the at the quad at lunch where, you know, a Mexican cat slapped somebody in the face with a Mexican flag on Cinco de Mayo, and it was a 35-minute brawl at lunch. Like, so it's very, if you were to ask me, you know, why do you feel that way? I would tell you, this is what I grew up dealing with. This is the view I had of it growing up. I don't feel like that now, but I'm still very cautious. So I say that to say, if you heard, you know, some white man say, oh, well, you know, I don't like, you know, black people are yada, yada, so on and so forth. A person's not going to ask you, well, where did you get that from? Why do you think they're that way? That willful ignorance is just going to go, oh, well, yeah, I agree. They're animals. They're animals too. And now that person just regurgitated that information to somebody else who's just as ignorant, and they didn't. So now it's a chain of ignorance. Like, and it started with one ignorant ass person who may have had a justifiable reason to feel, you know, some kind of way about a situation that happened to them. People are scared of dogs because they got bit, you know, by one when they were 6. You know, they've been, you know, they were bit by a dog at 6, and now they're 40 years old and still scared of dogs. Like there's
but not even that. Then they go around and they tell people around them, oh, don't trust pit bulls are dangerous. Pit bulls got bro.
I was just about to say that, bro.
Bro, pit bulls are dangerous and they, you know, they bad. But then you do research and pit bulls are probably the safest guard dogs for children.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's like any dog. A Chihuahua can bite you. You know what I mean? But then
you know what? The number one dog bite in America is from Chihuahuas.
It's Chihuahua, exactly. That's why I said Chihuahuas are the meanest dog.
That's because little ass dogs do all the barking and think they're tough. You know, they got that little dog complex.
But it just goes to show, like, the perfect example. Like the biggest terrorist in America is the white man, but the biggest fear in America is the black man. That, you know, you can pull up to any apartment and walk in with a Chihuahua, but you pull up with a pit bull in it. You can't hit. Live here with that. You can't, or you got to pay some ridiculous ass fee. So it's the same. It's the same thing with humanity, man. It's that willful ignorance, that bubble. I always say it's you know, it's a bubble. You know, everything is good in your bubble, so you don't care what's going on outside.
And I think that's where you articulated it perfectly a few minutes ago when you were saying, you know, that like you kind of feel like there was a point where like race relations was gonna be pretty much eliminated after a certain generation is gone, but now we've kind of taken 2 steps backwards, right? Like, you know, because there's certain people like in the spotlight, and now in particular in the White House, that have made this divide. Hold on. That have made this divide like a popular thing, right? And it's like it's motivated that that division, and it's like because of that, like we're going, in a sense, we're going backwards, and now we're gonna have to
baby swivel.
We're gonna, you know, we're now having to like kind of regain the ground that we've lost since, like, you know, the civil rights movement, for example. And you know, I think we saw with speaking on the bubble, like we saw the NBA bubble, like, you know, the LeBron James, Doc Rivers, and all them just like, like we're exhausted because we've been bending over backwards to try to save the world and get people to understand, and the willfully ignorant, they just don't care to listen to where we're coming from and what our experiences are. They just are totally blocking it out.
Right. I mean, you look at, and then I look at, just to add to what adds to the frustration as somebody who wants to push the positivity and the love. Like, you look at people like, perfect example, LeBron. You've got people with these huge platforms. The NBA, that is a huge platform. You have people like that speaking on injustices, speaking on the racial divide, speaking on, you know, all of these major issues, and it is still happening. So if somebody with a platform of millions of people listening, the NBA is a $1 billion conglomerate. You have all these people tuned in, and it is still going on. what is my little ass gonna do?
Right?
You know, and I got to that point. But I think it's, for me, my approach was, let me just affect the ones that are directly around me.
Right.
To try to then create that network. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Versus trying to bite off more than I could chew.
Definitely. I think we all, I think out of just frustration of everything that's going on, I think a lot of us try to bite off more than we can chew and take on huge communities and states and these and regions. And we really have to start with at home and the people in our network around us and let it just, word of mouth is powerful, man. So when you get people talking and having those conversations, it's a lot easier than having these huge rallies and these it's a big marketing show at that point. Everybody want to march and take pictures, and everybody want to just be out there to just be part of the cause, just for an Instagram post or just to say they did. So it's got to be, for one, it has to be genuine, and two, it has to start at home. And
there has to be education. I think starting at home too really exposes a lot, because then you're able to expose a lot of those mind frames and everything. But to kind of quote Killer Mike, there has to be a game plan that you then mobilize. You know what I mean? Like, you have to, it's one thing to go out, and we've said this quite often, but it's one thing to go and protest, but then if you leave that protest and then you go support the very system that's oppressing you, you're being counterproductive, and so it's having a plan in place to say, this is what we're going to do, this is what our expectations are, now let's start knocking down these dominoes.
Right.
And then mobilize.
Man. Yeah. I appreciate your viewpoint, bro. Like, I know, this is something I'm glad that we created, this platform, and we did it for this very reason, for you to be able to express yourself unapologetically. You know what I me So
right.
Thank you for sharing that, man.
Nah,
it's support.
Y'all. Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. It's allowing artists like myself to even have an opinion and come speak it. A lot of times, we're just supposed to make music. People don't really ask. People don't really ask what you really feel like, what's going on. Like, so a lot of times you either have to put it in your music for somebody to ask you how do you feel about it or something. And it has to be, you can put something in your music that may mean something to you, and it just came off as a nice bar to somebody else, and they don't even ask you about it. So this kind of platform really allows you to just talk and and get it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think on that note, I think it's only right, man, that we get into one of your records, Mac. Which one do you say we should start off with?
Man, let's go ahead and run For Sale. Just because that's just been one of the crowd favorites so far, man. So For Sale, this is co-produced by me. It's also another big reason I really like this record, because I've been producing for the last couple of years, but this is the first time that I've ever released any project that actually had production of my own on it. So I fully produced, mixed, mastered, wrote, recorded the intro, I Am, and then I co-produced For Sale. So now we're gonna get into For Sale.
There it is.
It's the Kickback Show, the kickbackshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome.
For new and exclusive music, listen to the Kickback Show.
Dini made that.
Out in Texas with the hammer, pole foe in a Phantom. Baby girl, she super thick. She flew in from Alabama. It's a movie, get the camera. Kiss some shit you wanna see. Yeah, y'all know I got the juice and everybody tryna squeeze. I got game, but I'm charging. I got drip, but I'm charging. I got tree, but I'm charging. I got hits, but I'm charging. I got bars, but I'm charging. I got clips, but I'm charging. I got game, but I'm charging. I got drip, but I'm charging. I got bags, I mean stacks, big stacks. I got bands, big bands. I mean racks, big racks. In it for life. I mean tats. You niggas be snitching. I mean rats, y'all some rats. I start the hustle in winter and shine in the summer. Laid out on the beach with a bitch, cowabunga. Catch money, the mission, and no, I'm not stunning. They calling me Zeus, I hit harder than thunder. The hustle don't stop and I never will try. I sleep when I die, that's just how it go. Getting to it like I'm supposed to do, bring it home to bacon, caught the swine flu. I get it low and then I sell it high, I be flipping shit, I'm a macrobat. If I did it once, I could run it back. Me falling off, man, imagine that. If you can't afford it, don't waste my time, keep the bullshit far away from me. I'm sucker ducking, you blow pops, that's a 24-hour-a-day thing. I'm riding in that white thing, motor came from Germany. Black wood like a forest fire, leather straight from Italy. They know who I am, so they know what it is. I sell anything, been that way since a kid. Please watch your mouth or get your wet slid. I covered it all like some dots on the ground. Out in Texas with the hammer, whole foe in a phantom. Baby girl, she super thick. She flew in from Alabama. It's a movie, get the camera. Kiss some shit you wanna see. Yeah, y'all know I got the juice and everybody tryna squeeze. I got game, but I'm charging. I got drip, but I'm charging. I got trees, but I'm charging. I got hits, but I'm charging. I got bars, but I'm charging. I got clips, but I'm charging. I got game, but I'm charging. I got drip, but I'm charging.
The Kickback Show. What's in your cup?
A whole lot of everything, ladies and gentlemen. Mac Fam in the building. This is the Kickback Show, thekickbackshow.com. So with everything that's going on, we kind of have a new sense of normalcy, right? How have you been able to maintain as an artist? Because I think if any industry has been struck the hardest, it has been the entertainment industry. When we're talking about production for movies and TV, clearly touring for musicians and music, like clearly it doesn't stop, production as far as creating an album or creating music, but to be able to go on tour and do promotion and marketing, clearly there has been an ultra shift. So how have you been able to adjust to everything happening this year?
One thing that has always been my gift, I would say, is my ability to communicate and network with people. So that has allowed me to be able to make lateral moves based on my network. Opportunities are presented to me more directly. I think, to answer more your question directly, I've been able to use people in my network to help me shift my stream of income, where now a lot of things are digital. A lot of things are now virtual, whereas you can't do much face to face now. So those performances, the touring, the auditions, and all of that, because everything has turned to digital. So there's an app called Bigo. Dami Ray J put me onto it. He's very into this, but it is I will say this is the first social media app that has paid me to go live.
Really?
I've never made $1 off Instagram. But there's people making $35,000 a month on Bigo.
Okay, wait, spell that for us.
Hold on.
B-I-G-O.
I almost feel like we need to keep it in house and just like let us get paid first, and then we can share it with the people.
So they pretty much. So I am an official host on Bigo. I'm with an agency called M Talent. So they pretty much make us official Bigo hosts. You literally go live and just talk to your fans. Your fans are able to send you gifts. They're able to send you like presents. If you're doing something on live, they're able to reward you for it. At the end of the month, you're able to turn those rewards into cash.
That's dope.
Okay, so I might have cut you off. Go ahead and spell it one more time for the people.
B-I-G-O. When you get on there, follow Mac Fam Music. MacFamemusic. Have you guys ever made money off of Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anything like that?
No, not at all.
Never $1.
That platform, so no.
I made $175 my first month on Bigo for doing nothing but turning on my camera and just talking to people all day.
That's dope.
But you know what's wild about what you're saying? It seems as simple as just turning on the camera and talking, but I think ever since YouTube became a thing, it's really content. Like
Content.
you're providing content for an audience. Yeah.
I mean, I do random stuff. I do my laundry on there. I ride, I'm in the studio. I go live on the studio a lot. Like me and Ray J went live last week in the studio, and we turned it up. Brandy came in. It's a lot of people. Kyle Massey's on there. Rockstar, the producer. It's a lot of people on Beagle who are catching this wave. And if you've got personality, and you have a decent following who come lock in with you and just show you some love, man, it's worth it, man. I've like I said, I've never made $1 from social media until I got on Beagle.
Man.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, how have I shifted? I moved with the time. Everything now has shifted to virtual. Everything. Yeah. I've done listening sessions on live now. I've done release parties on live. I do Q&As. Like it's just so much you have to enter. You can no longer interact face to face with people, or you can no longer interact with a large group of people face to face. So the only way to get that group is to do it virtually. So you can still do it.
Well, speaking of virtually, you've done the Raw stream performance. Like, man, absolutely, that was murdered that, bro. Like,
man, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I had a blast doing that, man. I had a blast. That was seeing that kind of stuff like that. That kind of stuff, an online concert, like a live stream concert, like that's the wave that we're heading in now, man. And for Raw Stream to be able to recognize that this is the time that we're in, this is the platform that if we put together, we can push. And like they've created a lane now that needed to be filled, man. So being a part of it, like to me, it's about the perfect storm, because I see Raw Stream going huge, especially right now. Right. So I'm just happy to, and honored to be a part of it. Period.
Yeah, it was a blast having you on for sure.
Do you feel like your artistry is able to translate properly virtually versus in person? Because I know a lot of times people are kind of feeling like it's not, because that energy isn't there. How are you able to transfer that energy virtually?
I'm a people person. So, perfect example. We've had conversation. We've had an interview and conversation in person, and now we've done it online. Do you feel like you've lost any of the energy that I had in my face-to-face interview versus now?
No, I mean, I feel like you are already a very personable, energetic person, and we've been privy to what you're like in person, so we have that familiarity. Right. So I think that kind of helps. For us, nothing is lost in translation. Right.
So I say that to say, if you're able to, it's all about the energy that you give off. If you can only give off energy when people are in front of you, then that may be something that you need to work on. Yeah. Me, I am natural. As a child till an adult, I have always been, like I said, like a people person. I get along with everybody. I can strike up a conversation with somebody I've never met and be friends in 5 minutes, find a common ground and be good. That's just always kind of been my gift or gab. Like I'm not Mac for no reason. I didn't master the art of communication for no reason. So being able to translate that energy through a Zoom call, or even just able to translate that energy through my lyrics, like, just something I thought and then I recorded it and then you heard it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes years later, like I put out music that I recorded 2-3 years ago on this project, and it's like some of people's favorite music, or favorite records on the album. So that's energy. That's me being able to translate energy from wherever city, state, time, date, and place that I was at to the time that you heard it and you felt whatever I recorded. That's translating energy. Me being able to be entertaining on a Zoom call is energy. Me being able to have that connection with people face to face is energy. So I think if you can master and harness the way you connect with people, whatever the medium is, won't matter.
And I think just to kind of co-sign what Mac is saying, and also has demonstrated, like, again, shameless plug, but going back to the Raw stream, right? Episode 6, presented by Track Life, Kickback Show.
Go ahead.
Like we had a very small studio audience that is able to kind of watch the performances, right? Yeah. And there was a couple of people that ended up having to leave right before Mac did his performance. And so myself, I was thinking, oh shoot, like, are we gonna lose some of the energy? And I kid you not, Mac got up in front of the camera and brought so much energy. You thought we were performing like in an arena full of, 15, 20,000 people. Like, that's how much energy Mac brought to his performance. And I'm quite positive. And if, for those out there who haven't seen it yet, like, go check that out. But like, you'll feel the energy as you watch him perform. Cause like like I said, whether it was 5 people or 50,000, like, I don't think Mac, does it any differently based off of, the energy.
I appreciate that, man. For real. I appreciate that.
Like, Mac is Mac for a reason. Like, I feel like he's immaculate. I don't think that that's necessarily. Sorry, I don't think that that's something that's necessarily easy for all artists.
True.
You're right. You have to
have that gift. And
yeah, it's definitely. I don't think it's something that can be learned. I think it has to be something that's within you to be outgoing and be. And just be personable. That's one of those. I think you're right. I think it's just something that you just have to have. I think you can learn, to be an entertainer, because people learn how to, people who are real introverts but they just love to create music, and their career ends up getting big, and so now they have to be in front of the camera. So those people learn how to become entertainers and then turn it off and go back to what they naturally know.
Yeah.
This is me all day. Like, I'm a natural entertainer. Like, in school, I was a class clown. Like, I've always been this way. So I think it's always been easy for me to just connect and entertain. This is what I like to do. To me, it's not even entertaining. I'm just being myself, and people find it entertaining.
Yeah. Have you had to, or maybe the better question is, do you feel as though you needed to adjust to how we're absorbing music now? So whereas before you had like these rollouts and everything, right? To where now it's dominated, as you mentioned, virtually. We're seeing TikTok be like the lead trending platform for breaking new music, and then streaming and things of that nature. And this is pretty rhetorical, but do you feel like you've had to adjust to say, you know what, let me make something that would appeal to like these digital platforms where people are going to consume it and it go viral?
Definitely. I think now more than ever, we lean on social media influencers, people who have those platforms that people go to, and they look for new content, look for new style, look for new fashions and music and trends and stuff like that. Since people can't go out and just see it, or people can't go, show, the people who are setting the trend and may not have the platform to show it, are now having to give it to these influencers to show what the new trend is. I have a dope idea, but I don't have the platform. This person doesn't have the dope idea, but they have the platform. Yeah, I said that right. So there's a lot of collaboration with people who already have that. So in social media influencers now, any kind of influencer right now is really the, I use this comparison loosely, but kind of the way DJs used to influence music when hip hop first started. The DJs used to be the key to music. You didn't know what was hot in the streets until you heard the DJ spin it. Either at the house party, at the block party, on the radio. The DJs really were the gatekeepers to, from the artists to the rest of the world. Now, the influencers are the gatekeepers for content and what's hot and trends now to the rest of the world, because they have the platform and everything is so social media influence now.
Yeah, that's very true. Do you feel as though that you've needed to adjust the content in your music? And this may not necessarily be directly for you, but it's kind of like a general question, because before all of this kicked off, we were clearly going out and in public and turning up in clubs and it was about popping bottles, but then clearly that doesn't apply going through a pandemic and being quarantined, right? So do you feel as though at any time during this year you've had to address the current state of events, or have you kind of held true to who you are in hopes that, like, okay, one day we're going to end up being able to go back to the club and kind of get back to how things once were, in a sense?
I've stayed true to who I am, but I've tried to incorporate what is going on. Perfect example, for the first time ever, I made I want to say it was politically charged, but it had a political undertone record. I'm not a political person. I don't speak on political injustices, racial injustices in my music. I have a record on my album. It was actually released as a single when I delayed my album the first time. But it's called Right Back. And it's me talking about, man, as a black man, I hope I make it back home at night. When I leave the house, man, I pray I come right back. My girl know I'll be in the streets, but, she pray I come right back. I'm tired of, I'm tired of black men being killed and stuff like that. So that's something I've been doing this for a long time, and I've never made any kind of music like that. I've never written any kind of records about that. And it got to the point where, I delayed the release of my album 3 months because, a black man was killed the week I was supposed to release my album. Like, I just wasn't even in the headspace to be trying to promote music, do promo runs, anything like that. I don't want to talk about my music when we are being slaughtered for doing nothing more than looking like what we do. Like, we can't help this. So I think things like that, like I've moved a little differently. Like, it's like could I have released my music? Yeah. And then you released it and then just say nothing. And when things calm down, like, maybe say something about it. It just wasn't right. But I did release a song that was talking about what the political climate was. So I have definitely kept it true to myself. Like, my new album has, some booty shaking on there, stuff for the ladies, but then it has some more chill, some more laid back stuff, some more, actually speaking on real life and what's going on now. So, I've stayed true, but I've definitely had to adjust.
Definitely. And I appreciate that. I know we would oftentimes ask artists, well before all of this kicked off, how they took accountability for their music in relation to the current state of events, with black individuals dying. And, like with you just saying that, it's almost like black artists have been forced to be political without being political. Yeah. So even by you just, coming out with a record saying, I hope I make it back home, that's the same thing as saying Black Lives Matter. Like, I'm hoping I'm dealing with so much adversity, whether it be from the streets that I'm in, or the white counterparts that, have different viewpoints, the police, to whatever. There's so much opposition, and it's like I just want to be comfortable like everybody else. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I appreciate you.
Definitely. Definitely.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
That is just the idea of saying that I want to make it home to my family is a partisan issue.
Yeah.
Like,
the fact that making it home is such a valued, or such a prevalent thought now. Like, the fact that you have to think like, man, am I gonna make it back home today?
Yeah,
that's a crazy thought.
Or just the fact that we're debating people in terms of like trying to end racism, and like people think that's almost like anti-American because we're trying to say we need to eliminate racism.
But that is how ingrained racism is in America. Like, racism is so important to the foundation of this country that saying that you don't want racism anymore is like, people will really take it as you are anti-American because you say that your life, your husband's life, your mother's life, your brother's life, someone's life matters. Right. So you're anti-American because you want to fight racism in a country wherein the foundation of it is built upon racism.
What do you mean you want to make it home tonight?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
And
How dare you?
You want to make it home?
And you know what? To piggyback on what Tiana's saying, it's like America ultimately is saying to Mac, if you don't make it back home, it's your fault.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're to blame if you don't make it back home, not registering everything else that's stacked up against you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And,
Shouldn't have left the house.
Yeah, it's like,
what?
Shouldn't have left the house.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have left the house.
Right. What are you doing? You shouldn't have had a job to begin with.
Right.
It's your fault because your black ass shouldn't have left the house.
Exactly. Yep. That's where we are, man.
But if you don't leave the house to go to work to do X, Y, and Z, then your black ass is lazy.
Man,
I do you one better. America say, you know what? It's your fault for even having a house, to have to pay bills, to have to even have to go to work, to have to be in danger. That's your fault. You shouldn't even have to have a house. You should be homeless.
Yep.
Man,
there you go.
Man, side note on the racing thing. So I've been traveling to different countries lately, over the last couple of years. One thing that I've learned is racism is a problem created by America.
Yeah.
So I met this couple in London, a black lady, white guy. Well, to our eyes, a black lady and a white guy. Sitting down talking to him, and he proceeds to tell me, he's like, Americans are so funny. He's like, you guys created this whole racial thing about black, white, and color and all that stuff, and then are mad about the situation that you guys created. Over there, she's not black, he's not white. They're British, or they're English, or she's Parisian and he's Australian. Like that whole color thing is it's only prevalent here, and then you come back to the States and you go, yo, we really have created this issue over here. And it's like, now how do you get rid of it? It's mind-boggling how different we move here versus people in different countries. Like, we have a huge issue here that is not even thought of in other countries.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, and based on my travels, because even like I've never been to South Africa, but knowing that they deal with the same type of racial thing, you follow the money. My favorite thing to remind people is follow the money trail. Right. You know what I mean? America, the reason why it was built and developed was because we were brought over as property. You know what I mean? And so it was one of them things to where black people being free meant, I'm taking away your workers. I'm taking away your free labor.
Your labor, yeah.
I'm taking away your profit. I'm taking away ultimately an asset that you have obtained, that you stole. Right. Ultimately, to where other countries have been manipulated. And it's not to say that, I mean, clearly you're not saying that racism doesn't exist in other countries, but it isn't as prominent because a lot of those countries weren't founded upon black people being slaves,
being property,
being property. You know what I mean? And so it's like any kind of tension that they have is founded upon different viewpoints, whereas here it's a Napoleon complex. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I'm better than you because of this, and again, going back to the systemic shit. But I mean, to your point, it's crazy how Americans are so blinded by the bigger picture. They get so fixated on the minutia that they fail to see, there's other things that they putting blinders on us, so we don't see the corruption over here. We're not seeing this. We're only focusing on who's voting for who and the black and white, and it's like, there's policies, there's other things. We need to eradicate this. We need to address this, and
even just start at the local level. I mean, people be so focused on the presidential election, man. Let's just talk about the local level, man. The people that are going to affect your community directly. Like, it's people are just, like you said, they're blinders, and going back to what T was saying, that will for ignorance, not wanting to know, and being happy not knowing, like just living in that ignorance is bliss, and they're blissfully ignorant.
When you couple that, I mean, it's a powder keg. You couple willful ignorance with operating within a bubble, with cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how do you fight that? How do you fight that?
And that goes back to what I was kind of saying in the beginning, that frustration. Like, you know what? Let me just make sure me and my network, people I love and care about, we're good and we're positive and we're pushing the love. Other than that, man, you can't worry about anybody outside your circle.
Because you battling against generations of conditioning and programming. You know?
Yeah, man.
Man, I wanna pivot back briefly just to like your energy, and in particular your music. Your album I Am is available now, right? On all
Yes, sir. All platforms.
All that good stuff.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
One of my favorite records on the album is Outstanding. So
one of my favorites too, bro.
Can you do me a favor and just break down like how the record came together in terms of like, you know, who produced it, the sample, like all of that?
Yeah. All right. So Ray J, I, and Corrupt was in the studio one day, matter of fact. We were at Energy.
Bars.
And we were, you said what?
That's bars, just
that's
the
a
name
bar.
Dropping is bar.
Man, so we're at Energy, and a lot of times, a lot of producers just pull up, especially when we're doing these long stretches of studio time. We're in there for weekdays. People are always coming to pull up and work, and I just happened to be going through some records when this producer walked in, and I think he overheard me say something. I was talking about kind of the current state of hip hop and how old school samples are really prevalent right now. You know, maybe last year it was horns, with like J. Cole's Middle Child and Young Thugger's and Gunna's Hot. Those horns were really, you know, real prevalent, and a lot, they were real popping. So then now more recently, it's been a lot of old school samples, like the City Girls did it. You know, it's a lot of they're taking a lot of like the popular stuff right now and then turning it and flipping that sample. So I was saying all of this, and in the same breath, I think I said something about I would love like a Charlie Wilson or like a Gap Band sample. I'm a huge Charlie Wilson fan, man. I love Uncle Charlie, man.
Let's go.
I've seen him live. Like I love Uncle Charlie, man. I love the Gap Band. I love that whole era. SOS, EWF. Like I love that whole era of live instrumentation. I'm very big on live instrumentation. It's a feeling in music when live instrumentation versus a digital production. You know, it's just something that live strings, live horns, and kicks and drums can do for you that a DAW just can't.
Right.
It does, you know, a synthetic horn. It sounds synthetic over a natural. So I'm saying all this, and so the cat's name is Just Josh. And he's going through tracks, and he was like, man, I think I may have something for you. And I was like, well, shit, plug it up. Like, what you mean? So he starts going through tracks, and he's hitting me with bangers. He's hitting me with killers. And then he goes, oh yeah, that old school sample you said you wanted? He plays this, it starts off slow, you know, you hear the wow, 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 and I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden you hear the do-do-dum, dum. Yeah, off the top, you know it, off the top. And so I'm like, oh, this feels good. And I'm like, man, but the thing with samples is it's so hard to get samples cleared.
Right.
It's so hard to get a sample like that cleared. So I'm asking him about it. I'm like, man, how long is a sample? Like, I know, like, it's less than 3 seconds. How many pieces did you use? Like, how, you know, can I get this cleared? Like, who, you know, I'm already on Google trying to figure out who owns the sample. How can I get this cleared? Because I want this record. I am dead set on having this record at this point. It's played for maybe 45 seconds, and I'm pulling out split sheets. I need everything. Like, we need to go and lock this in now. So he ends up telling me, no, it's all live. We play that. I said, so there's not one sample in this. So I made him pull up the recording and made sure, and I was like, bro, that's all live. That's all live instrumentation. Wow. So I ran with it. I said, man, it felt, I was, you know, of course, I was smoking, of course, I was at home. I recorded it at home, and I remember thinking, you know what, it feels good. I'm very big on energy. I'm very big on vibes. And I don't know if it's just because I happened to be smoking at the time. I don't know if it's because I just really love marijuana, but it fit. Like it fit in the. So I wrote the hook as well, and I actually sang the hook at first. And I sent it to my boy Jack Freeman, who is featured on the record in Houston. And I told him, I said, bro, I don't have the soulful voice for this, but my boy Jack has a voice as smooth as cognac. I said, bro, I need that Uncle Charlie soulful church sound on it. Like I need that ooh yeah. And he sent me back that, and it's so reminiscent of the original record. Like it makes me smile. Like it's probably one of my favorite records to date, probably because I'm such a huge Charlie Wilson fan, probably because I'm a huge fan of live instrumentation, but that's easily, I enjoyed making that record the most. It feels good. Like anything that feels good like that, like it felt good when I recorded it. It felt good when I heard it back. It feels good. If you were to play it now, it just feels good. Everybody who hears it, it feels good. I remember playing it in the studio one day, and Ray J's dad was upstairs, and he came down and he goes, what is that? He was doing this little move, and OG Norwood, and I was like, man, what? I said, go ahead. He said, man, what? That's you? I said, yeah. He said, you got one with that. I said, man, that's it. That's it, man. So I said, so it's the feeling, man. Anything that feels good like that.
Yeah.
And I attribute it to the live instrumentation, and just the replication of the music from that era, which I'm such a fan of. Like that music feels good. Those were the records that came on and you would hear the first 3, 4, 5 notes and you knew off the top. Yeah. Like this is my joint. Like the lyric ain't dropped, bass line ain't hit, but you hear that keyboard progression or whatever that intro is, and you know what it is. Like, so that I say drums, man.
Yeah. The percussion come in, you already know. So man, for me, outstanding is the vibe, man. From the moment I heard it, and T-Fly co-produced it. So Just Josh and T-Fly. That's dope.
Yeah, so that's dope. Easily one of my favorites, man.
Yeah, this record is definitely an immaculate vibe. It's called Outstanding. We got to get into it. I suggest the listeners, the viewers, y'all get ready to get your 2-step on, because it's automatic when this record hits. Like it's automatic.
Factual.
Let's do this.
Video out now too. Yeah.
Oh shoot.
There it is. Oh man, let's make it happen. Mac Fame in the building. The Kickback Show. The KickbackShow.com. Snitch.
Yeah. First time that I ever took a puff, I knew in that moment that I never get enough. Up and away to a faraway land. Man, I'm clear for takeoff. Mary grabbed me by the hands while we twist another one to see the finer side of life. Music is amazing and the food is always right. Backwood full of jet fuel, I'm about to take flight. Sunny day in the park, man, I'm high as a kite. Rolling nothing but the best, everything's outstanding. Higher than a rocket, so I'm ready for the landing. See it in my dreams, little green leaves dancing. Girl Scouts in the wood, we ain't talking about camping. Break it down, roll it up, put it in rotation. Back to back blunts, yeah, I got them in formation. Eyes to the sky if you need my location. I'm always going up, I don't need no navigation. me and Mary Jane running through a field of dreams. Eyes lowered in the pocket on a midget jeans. That sticky icky West Coast, it's the real thing. I like my blunts hella thick with weed busting out the seam. Call me Tom, it's the engine, I be blowing hella steam. And the ozone layer back cause I be burning hella trees. Roll another one up and keep the party going, please. I'm about to get it cracking like a bad pair of knees. We can put it in a vapor, we can put it in a baked good, but I be putting clouds in the air like a neighborhood. This right here's a bop, headed to the shop. I've been smoking all my life and man, I'll probably never stop. Always elevated, I'm familiar with the top. And I get it from the grower, I be rolling off the block. Time be flying, I be smoking round the clock. In the sky so much, I damn near never walk. Ha.
Don't blow my high.
Whole lot of everything, ladies and gentlemen. Mac Fame, brother, it's always an honor to have you on this show, man. Like, I know it's, you know, it seems like we've known each other for a lifetime, even though, you know, it's only been a couple of years at this point. But, you know, just the energy, as we've mentioned before, that you bring, and just, you know, just sharing your insight, man, is again confirmation as to why we do this, you know. And again, the music, man, so excited to hear this. Great to see that you're still doing it. I guess, you know, we in this final quarter. What's next?
Yeah,
man. So I was trying to go pull a Beyonce and do a surprise, but then I had a realization that I'm not Beyonce, so I probably shouldn't do this. But yeah, I've actually got another project coming out. I'm just going to do another EP. It's called Microphone Therapy. This is the first time.
Wait. That microphone therapy or macrophone therapy?
Yo,
let's go.
I may have to write a record called Macrophone Therapy just to add to this.
Can I get a little co-writer credit or something?
Yeah, yes, man, definitely. But no, this one is called Microphone Therapy, and the first record is actually called Mic Therapy. So this project is probably the most personal to me. As an artist, I have never really touched on my personal life. Well, I touch on like the fun aspect of my personal life, my past experience that are fun and, excuse me, it may sound good. But these, I've had I would say I've had I wouldn't say a battle. I've had an interesting last year. I will say the last 12 months of my life have been very interesting. And these are aspects that I'll be touching on in the project. I feel like a lot of the stuff is things that I don't just normally sit and talk about. I'm not a very emotional person. So I don't normally talk about things that bother me. I'm one of those people that compartmentalize and then deal with it, move on, and do what you got to do. I know sometimes a lot of artists, their only way of communicating their feelings is through music or whatever their art is or whatever their craft is. And so this time around, I'm using the mic as my therapist and actually speaking on things that aren't maybe so glamorous or so positive in my life. There's, things that I'm discussing on records on there that I'd rather not, but it helped me through what I was going through, and I like the way it sounds. So now I'm gonna put it out. It'll be very different. It'll be a different Mac. It'll definitely be nothing like people have ever heard before.
what inspired you to take it this route, especially what you just said as far as not being an individual that expresses it in this way and you kind of internalize, which typically people do, but what inspired you to say, you know what, let me flush all this out?
Two things. I've learned over my time in making music about what people like to hear. And when I think back to the records that I've written over the years, people seem to like the records that are a little more personal as opposed to a little more turned up, as opposed to the club records and, you know, the go up records, the records that may be a little more applicable to other people's lives and a little more relatable to people. Those are normally the records that people gravitate to. And then two, I look at the success of Right Back. I just look at like simple stuff like streaming numbers. Like that record did very well. And I was talking about something that was very prevalent to me as a Black man. I you know, every time I leave the house, I pray I come right back. Like, that's real. And there's a lot of Black men that think like that. There's a lot of Black women who pray that their Black husbands and Black sons and Black brothers, you know, come home after they leave the house, you know, just to go to work. Records, you know, things like that have made me go, people really want to hear, you know, something more personal. Let me give a full project of it. You know, and it just happened to be that this is probably one of the most, I want to say one of the most, but in a while, I've been doing, life has been good for a while. And then life kind of went, okay, you've been coasting. Let me shake it up for you a little bit.
Yeah, let me hit you with some electricity.
Yeah, let me add some twists and turns to it. And bam, and so some good music came out of it, man. I can't wait to let the world hear this.
And I'm glad that you did that, man. And part of the reason why I'm asking is because I've noticed in the, you know, more, you know, clearly the more recent years, especially the last year, that same energy has been shared in our community, where the conversation about normalizing therapy in the Black community and normalizing communicating and talking and not feeling alone, and mental health as it relates to depression, anxiety, so on and so forth, not even necessarily just everything across the spectrum, you know. And clearly we hear the Kanye West, or you hear, you know, Kid Cudi was definitely a champion for it, but then they kind of get lost in the entertainment aspect of where people factor in other things and may not take their issues serious, you know. And so again, I appreciate you for being vulnerable, because ultimately that's what art is, you know what I mean? And you never know how it's gonna help, you know, other people. So that's dope, man. That's super dope. I commend you on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, it's, you know,
definitely something to look forward to, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm interested to see, you know, I shared before we got on the air how we, you know, music, hip hop can be institutionalized in, you know, certain areas of academia. It would be great to, you know, kind of see how that translates over, and, you know, clearly can help people that deal with that and expressing themselves, you know.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm excited to see how people receive what I'm putting out. You know, it felt good. It felt good for me to get it out, but now it'll be interesting to see how people receive it.
Right. That's dope, man. That's dope.
Well,
you know,
just to make sure people are, you know, are kind of tapped in and ready for that next project. You know, plug your social media handles and all that, just so everyone can follow you, your websites, all that good stuff.
Definitely. Literally everything is MacFame. It's Twitter, Instagram.com, everything MacFame. Cash App, put the $ in front of it. Is just everything is. I've made it easy for you to find me, man. Whatever social media platform you on, it's MacFame. It's probably the @ symbol before it. Facebook, you just put a space in between my name. iTunes, Spotify, social, you know, all of that. It's 2 words, MAC space FAME. Made it real easy for you, man.
And also to plug, you know, the gym that you gave us earlier. Is it the same on Bigo.
Bigo is making music. It's the only difference on there. Just add music to it.
Man, definitely appreciate you sharing that, brother. Because that's
definitely, man. Y'all, no, for real. When y'all ready, man, download the app and I'll get you with my agency and get you guys to be official hosts and you start making some bread.
Is it compatible both Android and iPhone?
Yes, sir.
There it is. That's love right there. I'm loving how there's another platform on a sidebar called Clubhouse that I've been hearing about.
Oh, really?
It kind of has the same, not necessarily the same layout, but it's more of like you'll have artists that come in and it's people just kind of talking and you can just kind of join this talk that they're doing, and it's almost like the old school. What was that? The phone, where,
the chat lines, party lines,
the party lines, and all of that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that, but a little more structured with industry cats and all that.
Got it. That's dope.
Yeah, but they're not compatible with Android yet, so I may have to do something that I said I would never do.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. No, I'm not getting rid of my baby now. I may just have to add.
You're just gonna have
one
add
to
another
the family.
Baby.
Add a burner. Add a burner phone. You know what I mean?
That's on a burner.
Wow. I feel so.
Listen,
come on over to the dark side, Fonz.
I'm not coming over anywhere. I'm staying with my Android.
You staying
I'm
on
just going. You know what I mean? I'm just have this little side piece to just use her for that. You know what I mean? Clubhouse. You just the party bot. You know what I mean?
That's hilarious.
So staying with my bottom piece. Yeah, I'm staying with my bottom thing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
Yeah, man.
Well, shoot, Mac. Before we let you get on out of here or get off this phone or this computer, what's another record we could share with the people that is off the I Am album, available everywhere right now?
Man, let's run Lamborghini Music, man. That's a vibe, you know. I like Lamborghini Music. Lamborghini Music feels good. It's featuring Ray J and my boy Notch. It feels good, man. It's just one of those that, like I said, man, the vibe it feels good. It's just one of those records that feel good. Just roll your windows down, roll up something, post something up. It's one of those vibes, man. So whatever you're doing, enjoy what you're doing and while you're listening.
Man, I love it. Hey, man, when you talk to Ray J, after we get out of here, call Ray J and tell him I'm gonna buy him a Toyota, man. So I'm gonna buy all y'all Toyotas so y'all can make Toyota music for the everyday people. You know what I mean? Because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the Maybach music and Aston Martin music and Ferrari music and the Bentley music and all of that. Like, when can we get the Geo Metro music? You know what I mean?
Because you know what? You don't want to have you just because you ride in the Geo Metro don't mean you got a Geo Metro mind, man. It's about the mind frame. It's how you feel, man. The music is we make good music. We make high class, high top tier music, man, and that's not a Geo Metro. So it's not particularly the vehicle that you're in, it's the mind frame that you're in while you're in that vehicle. And everybody should have a Lamborghini, Ferrari, Bentley. Everybody should have that $1 million mind frame, man.
That's real.
Right?
That's
be
real.
Rich. Be rich first. Yeah. Be rich mentally.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, hell, even Kanye and Jeezy told us, like, you can't tell me nothing. So,
nothing.
Yeah, my
money, right.
Opening line, he said, I had a dream that I could buy my way to heaven. When I woke up, I spent it on the necklace.
Yep. Off the rip. I'm going to make you think off the rip.
Top. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But the thing is Ray J ain't running out of gas, and that's what I need y'all to make music for, the ones that's in the Geo Metro running out of gas.
But then that just means that there's other records on the album that you may maybe just stay away from the car theme music, and maybe anything that has a car theme. Let's just go get the hustler music and get the music that got you feeling bossed up, man. We're just gonna keep you out of the vehicle theme music, man.
Vehicle.
That's where you just go over the.
Yeah, it's
go over the excellent.
Yeah. You got some gangster stuff on there if you want to feel tough. You got something for the ladies. You want to feel like ladies, man. We just gonna keep you out the vehicle music.
Man, so there we go. After microphone therapy, this quarter, then at the top of the year, you should do vehicle theme music.
And do every record named after a whip.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey man, hold on, time out. Ladies and gentlemen, the viewpoints and ideas that have been presented by Mac Fame and the Kickback Show and its subsidiaries and parent companies are sole propriety of the Kickback Show, Mac Fame and its subsidiaries and parent companies. Don't be buying our shit, motherfucker.
That means we'll whoop your ass, and that means we'll whoop your ass. You try to take our shit.
Hey man, there's something brilliant in that though, because you think about different cars.
I'm gonna start that this week, bro. I'm gonna start, and you know what? I'm gonna send y'all. Mark my words. Give me a couple weeks, and I'm gonna send you guys like 3-4 records of just vehicle themed records. And if y'all like it, I'm gonna do an entire project.
Yes.
Hey man.
It is.
Hey man.
I'm gonna do it. I like the idea. I like being challenged. One thing people have always told me is like, there's nothing you can't write about. So when I feel like something's been presented to me that I've never done, I'm like, I have to now.
Yeah.
We love it.
I have to. So yeah,
Absolutely.
give me a couple weeks, man. I'm gonna be tapping in with y'all real soon for the thumbs up or the thumbs down.
And you should low key, you should document your process in certain aspects, and then
I am just because we're talking about it now. Yeah, the whole creative process.
Every music video could be done in a different whip.
Yeah, every whip.
I love being black.
Yeah. Bro, we are the dopest, man. We're the dopest.
Bruh, man, off of a joke.
Off of a joke,
Make it like a progression. Make it like I started in a Geo Metro and I ended in Lamborghini music, and make it like a work progression.
Yeah, man. Had the first one start as a Metro, the very last record would be man. Let's go.
Throw an old school in there. You can have a Cadillac with a smooth, man. That's luxurious, man. This is, man. Listen,
from the stock 6.4 to the low.
Man,
everything from the box Chevy to the Dunk. Yeah.
And you know what's beautiful about that is that that's not even just a regional thing.
Yeah.
That literally can work everywhere. Everybody's got
their style of cars. Yep. Florida's got the Dunks. Texas got the slabs. Cali's got our Southern California got lowriders. Bay Area got scrapers. Like everybody's got their own.
You got lowriders in Japan.
You know what?
It's not.
I may just even do something like that. Scrapers, slabs, dumps, lolos. Like maybe not even just man.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got work to do. Man. Get off my phone. I got work to do. I got work to do, man. Y'all got the vibe. Y'all got it rolling now, man.
Man, I told y'all it's Scorpio season, man. So we in it. Hey, man. Much love to you, brother. I love you.
Man. I appreciate you guys having me on for real, man. Thank you so much.
Any and every time, man. You know it's an open door policy, man. Let's get into this Ferrari music. Mac Fame once again. Lambo music. I'm tripping. I just wanted. See, my mindset is going into different. My Geo Metro is whipping right now, as you can see. You know what I mean?
Lamborghini music.
Lamborghini music. Let's get into it. This is a Kickback Show. At the Kickback Show on everything. As always, I am Wavecap Johnny on Instagram and Twitter, and she is.
I am Tiana Giovanna across the board. If you know me. I'm Cher Lagos. And
there it is.
DJ Swivel on Twitter, Swivel on Instagram, SWIVLL, and Mac Fame's I Am album is everywhere. Make sure not only stream that, but buy that too, because you get more money off the purchase. So
please
get back to buying albums.
Go to the iTunes store and click buy.
Yes, please. And much love and support to my cousin, Organic Blackberry. We love you, baby. All right. Much love to y'all. Until next time. Peace.